What I'm about to reveal will completely destroy everything you thought you knew about The Summer I Turned Pretty on Prime Video and its seemingly perfect cast. Behind those romantic Belly and Conrad moments that flooded your timeline, those emotional Jenny Han interviews that made millions of fans cry, and every single The Summer I Turned Pretty cast interview from seasons 1 and 2 that you've obsessively watched, there's been a political war so brutal that these co-stars literally cannot stand being in the same room together anymore. We're talking about social media scandals that sparked international outrage, a wedding that became Hollywood's most savage snub in recent memory, and Amazon Prime Video having to issue actual legal warnings about fan harassment spiraling completely out of control. The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 2 might have given us emotional closure between Belly and the Fisher brothers, but this behind-the-scenes controversy makes the Conrad versus Jeremiah love triangle look like child's play. Lola Tung's increasingly uncomfortable interview moments, the Summer I Turned Pretty Season 1 cast chemistry that everyone praised as absolutely flawless, and those Summer I Turned Pretty full episode behind-the-scenes moments you couldn't get enough of on Amazon Prime just became infinitely more complicated than anyone imagined.
Look, if you want the complete inside story on how personal politics absolutely destroyed one of television's most beloved young casts, you need to hit that subscribe button right now because apparently I need more subscribers to afford the therapy I'll need after diving this deep into celebrity chaos. Seriously though, smash that subscribe button because this drama makes Belly's choice between the Fisher brothers look like the easiest decision in the world. When The Summer I Turned Pretty premiered on Amazon Prime Video in June 2022, absolutely nobody could have predicted it would evolve into something far more explosive than just another teen romance adaptation. Based on Jenny Han's internationally beloved trilogy, this wasn't just entertainment for young adults. It became a full-blown cultural phenomenon that completely dominated social media every single summer since its debut. The series didn't just accumulate viewers, it created militant armies of devoted fans who lived and breathed every microscopic detail of Belly's emotional journey between Conrad and Jeremiah Fisher.
The intensity surrounding this Prime Video series was unlike anything the entertainment industry had witnessed since the Twilight vampire craze took over the world. Team Conrad versus Team Jeremiah wars raged across every conceivable social media platform, with fans obsessively analyzing every single glance between Lola Tung and Christopher Briney, dissecting every interaction between Lola and Gavin Casalegno with forensic precision, and turning completely innocent cast interview moments into evidence supporting their elaborate shipping theories. But here's where everything took a seriously dark and twisted turn. The obsession wasn't just about the fictional love triangle between characters anymore. Fans became completely fixated on the real-life relationships, personal beliefs, and private political opinions of the actors themselves.
Lola Tung, Christopher Briney, and Gavin Casalegno weren't just playing beloved characters anymore. They became the human faces of one of the biggest teen drama sensations in streaming platform history. The show's success was absolutely astronomical, beyond anyone's wildest expectations. Season 1 completely shattered viewing records for Amazon Prime Video, and by the time Season 2 dropped, with massive anticipation building for months, these young actors couldn't walk anywhere in public without being mobbed by screaming fans who treated them like actual royalty. Social media followers exploded into the millions practically overnight. Prestigious magazine covers, incredibly lucrative brand partnerships, major award nominations. This was the kind of overnight success that launches entire careers and changes people's lives forever.
But with that unprecedented level of fame and public scrutiny comes crushing pressure that most people simply cannot comprehend or handle gracefully. And apparently, it also exposed some seriously uncomfortable truths about who these people really are when those cameras stop rolling and the scripted dialogue ends, revealing ideological differences that would tear this cast apart in the most public way possible. The first major warning sign that something was catastrophically wrong behind the scenes came from an absolutely unprecedented move by Amazon Prime themselves that shocked the entire entertainment industry to its core. The streaming giant felt compelled to issue a stern public warning to fans about their increasingly toxic behavior, essentially stating that it has a zero-tolerance policy for bullying and hate speech, adding that if fans engage in hate speech or bullying, targeting our cast or crew, or harassing or doxing members, they would face immediate consequences.
Think about that situation for just a moment. When has a major streaming platform ever had to essentially threaten to ban viewers for how they discuss and interact around a teen romance show? This wasn't normal fan enthusiasm or typical celebrity worship they were dealing with. This was something much darker, more dangerous, and infinitely more personal than anyone had anticipated. Industry reports started revealing that both Christopher Briney and Gavin Casalegno, who portray Conrad and Jeremiah in the series based on romance novels, respectively, have been on the receiving end of hate comments and online harassment. Behind-the-scenes sources began sharing increasingly disturbing details about why Amazon felt the urgent need to step in so aggressively with legal threats. People with direct connections to the production revealed that the entire cast had been receiving an unusual and alarming amount of targeted harassment, but this wasn't coming from random internet trolls or anonymous accounts. The harassment was coming directly from different factions within their own supposed fan base, and it was getting intensely personal, deeply political, and genuinely threatening to their safety and mental health. Fans had started connecting dangerous dots between the actors' real-life political views, personal beliefs, and their on-screen chemistry, and the results were absolutely explosive in the worst possible way. Several fans have seemingly targeted Gavin Casalegno for his alleged conservative political beliefs, including social media posts the actor has liked. And the bullying doesn't only stem from Team Conrad and Team Jeremiah factions of fans. The moment that really exposed just how fractured and dysfunctional this cast had become behind their professional facades should have been a joyous celebration shared with their television family. Gavin Casalegno married Cheyenne King in late 2024, which should have been a beautiful occasion celebrated by his co-workers, who had become like family during their intense filming schedules over multiple seasons. Instead, it became the smoking gun that proved these actors couldn't tolerate spending personal time together outside of their contractual obligations.
Not a single cast member attended Gavin's wedding ceremony. Not Christopher Briney, who plays his on-screen rival Conrad Fisher. Not Lola Tung, who shared intimate romantic scenes with him as Jeremiah's love interest, Belly Conklin. Not Sean Kaufman, who plays Steven, Belly's protective older brother. Not even Jenny Han herself, the creator and executive producer of the entire show, who had launched all of their careers and made them household names across the world. Now, actors missing a colleague's wedding isn't automatically scandalous or newsworthy in the entertainment industry. People have legitimate scheduling conflicts, previous commitments, family obligations, or personal reasons for declining wedding invitations. But when literally every single person from your work family, people you've spent months living and working in close quarters with, sharing emotional scenes and building what appeared to be genuine friendships, completely skips your wedding, and then fans start posting detailed side-by-side comparisons with other television show casts who treat each other like genuine family, it starts painting a very different and much more troubling picture of what was really happening behind those carefully curated social media posts.
The internet detectives went absolutely wild with their investigative analysis. They pulled up countless photos from other popular young adult show weddings where entire casts showed up enthusiastically to support each other's major life milestones. The Outer Banks cast regularly celebrates each other's personal achievements with genuine enthusiasm and obvious affection. Stranger Things actors consistently show up for each other's important events, posting heartfelt messages and behind-the-scenes photos. Even reality television stars from shows like Love Island typically rally around their co-stars' weddings, engagements, and other significant moments with public support and celebration. But the Summer I Turned Pretty cast? Complete radio silence. No Instagram stories congratulating the happy couple. No behind-the-scenes photos from any wedding-related events or celebrations. No public acknowledgement whatsoever that this massive milestone in their colleague's life had even occurred. It was like Gavin's wedding existed in a completely parallel universe that none of his co-stars inhabited, cared about, or wanted to be associated with publicly.
The reason for all this obvious tension and professional awkwardness finally started making complete sense when dedicated fans dug deeper into Gavin Casalegno's social media activity patterns and discovered something that would change everything fans thought they knew about this cast. According to sources, Casalegno has been accused of liking tweets that express controversial and divisive political views, supposedly including anti-vaccination and anti-feminist sentiments. What they uncovered was an extensive pattern of online behavior that directly contradicted the core values of a show created by a progressive woman, starring a strong female protagonist making her own choices, and beloved by a predominantly young, socially conscious fan base who valued equality, representation, and social justice causes.
The controversy exploded across social media platforms when eagle-eyed fans discovered that Gavin had liked a particularly inflammatory post that read something along the lines of celebrating women who reject feminism, choose traditional roles, and embrace conservative values. This wasn't just some random accidental double tap on social media. This was posted by an account specifically promoting traditional gender roles and conservative family values to fans of a show that was literally about female empowerment, personal agency, and a young woman choosing her own path in life regardless of societal expectations or traditional pressures. But that discovery was honestly just the tip of an enormous iceberg that kept getting more problematic the deeper fans investigated. More extensive research revealed that Gavin was following and consistently engaging with some seriously controversial figures and content that seemed completely at odds with his co-stars' public positions and the show's core messaging about equality, acceptance, and progressive values. Hey, quick interruption. If you're still watching this celebrity chaos unfold without hitting that subscribe button, I'm starting to think you enjoy emotional damage without commitment. Hit subscribe, because apparently researching whether actors secretly hate each other is my calling in life, and I need validation that people appreciate this level of investigative journalism into Hollywood dysfunction. Dedicated fans discovered he had been liking posts by conservative media personalities widely known for their public stances against various social justice movements, their vocal opposition to progressive policies, and their consistent alignment with Republican talking points, including controversial positions on social issues that his co-stars actively supported. The actor was also found engaging with content that many fans found deeply offensive, given current conversations about equality, representation, and human rights that were central to their viewing experience.
The pattern became absolutely impossible to ignore or explain away when fans discovered even more problematic content in his digital footprint. Content promoting positions that many fans found troubling during ongoing social and political movements. Posts that seemed tone-deaf and insensitive, given the values that The Summer I Turned Pretty supposedly represented and that its fan base held dear. Each new discovery felt like another nail in the coffin, confirming that Gavin's personal beliefs and political positions were fundamentally at odds with everything The Summer I Turned Pretty supposedly represented in terms of progressive values, female empowerment, and inclusive storytelling that resonated with its predominantly young, liberal audience.
When you contrast this pattern of social media activity with his co-star's online presence, the ideological divide becomes even more stark and obvious to anyone paying attention. Christopher Briney's Instagram consistently shows support for progressive environmental causes, climate change activism, and various social justice issues that resonate with younger generations and align perfectly with the show's values. Lola Tung regularly shares content supporting women's reproductive rights, racial equality movements, and LGBTQ+ acceptance initiatives that her fan base actively champions. Their online activity
perfectly aligns with typical Generation Z liberal values and the kind of inclusive messaging that made the show so popular with its target demographic of socially conscious young viewers. And then there was Gavin, apparently supporting figures, ideas, and political positions that were completely opposed to his co-star's public stances and the show's overall message about acceptance, equality, and personal freedom to choose your own path regardless of traditional expectations.
When the backlash started gaining serious momentum across social media platforms and entertainment news outlets, Gavin attempted some damage control that honestly made the situation even worse and more suspicious to fans who had been following the controversy closely. He claimed that someone else had unauthorized access to his social media accounts and was liking posts without his knowledge or consent. He insisted that he didn't even have Instagram installed on his phone most days, and thanked fans for bringing this concerning activity to his attention so he can investigate and secure his accounts from potential hackers. But his explanation fell completely flat for several obvious reasons that even his most devoted fans couldn't ignore, rationalize, or defend convincingly. First, the pattern of problematic activity was far too consistent, specific, and aligned with a particular worldview to be explained by random unauthorized access or accidental engagement. This wasn't someone randomly engaging with cat videos, sports content, and political posts. It was a carefully curated selection of posts that all supported a specific conservative ideology over an extended period of time, spanning months or potentially years.
Second, this wasn't just one or two random likes that could potentially be explained as accidental taps, mistakes, or technical glitches. This was an extensive history of engaging with controversial content spanning a significant time frame, suggesting a deliberate pattern of interest and agreement, rather than isolated incidents or random activity that could be dismissed as meaningless. And third, his public explanation only came after he got caught and called out by fans conducting their own investigation, not as a proactive clarification or genuine security concern about his accounts being compromised. The timing made it seem like calculated damage control rather than legitimate concern about account security or unauthorized access to his social media profiles. The situation became exponentially more complicated and professionally problematic when you consider the workplace dynamics this ideological divide was creating on set during their daily filming schedule. Industry insiders started sharing details about how this political tension was seriously affecting the day-to-day atmosphere during filming, creating an uncomfortable work environment that affected everyone's performance and the overall production quality. Sources close to the production revealed that the conflict wasn't just about having different political opinions. Plenty of actors worked together successfully, despite disagreeing on various political issues, tax policies, or economic theories. This was about fundamental differences in core values and basic beliefs about human dignity, equality, and social justice that made it essentially impossible for the cast to connect on any personal level beyond their professional obligations and contractual requirements. When you're spending months filming together in close quarters, sharing emotionally intimate scenes, and expected to create believable romantic chemistry and authentic friendships on screen, having such vastly different worldviews creates genuinely insurmountable problems that affect everyone's performance, the authenticity of their interactions, and the overall production quality that audiences ultimately experience.
It's one thing to disagree about economic policies, healthcare systems, or foreign relations. But when one person's social media activity suggests they don't believe in the fundamental humanity, rights, and dignity of groups that their co-stars belong to, identify with, or actively support through their own advocacy work, that creates an impossible working environment that no amount of professional courtesy, acting training, or directorial guidance can overcome. The professional consequences started becoming painfully apparent during what should have been routine promotional activities and press tours that fans had previously enjoyed watching. The cast interviews that everyone used to praise for their natural chemistry, genuine friendship, and obvious affection for each other became increasingly awkward and uncomfortable to watch. Body language experts on social media started pointing out the subtle signs of tension that viewers were picking up on subconsciously. Christopher Briney and Lola Tung would sit closer together during interviews, often engaging in side conversations or inside jokes that seemed to deliberately exclude Gavin from their interactions. The natural flow of conversation that had made their early promotional content so engaging and authentic started feeling forced and scripted. Once been genuine laughter, spontaneous moments, and authentic chemistry had transformed into polite professionalism and barely concealed tension that even casual viewers couldn't ignore.
The most telling moments came during questions about their friendships and relationships off-screen. In early interviews, all three leads would enthusiastically share stories about hanging out between takes, going to dinner together, and developing genuine friendships that extended beyond their work responsibilities. By Season 3 promotional interviews, those same questions were met with vague responses, awkward pauses, and obvious deflection to safer topics about their characters and the storyline. Industry professionals who work in entertainment publicity started sharing their observations about how unusual this level of visible tension was during promotional campaigns. Most actors, even those who genuinely dislike each other, are skilled enough to maintain convincing professional relationships during press tours because their careers depend on it. The fact that the Summer I Turned Pretty cast couldn't even fake harmony convincingly suggested that the underlying conflict was much deeper and more personal than typical workplace disagreements.
The situation reached a breaking point when fans started analyzing the cast's individual social media accounts and discovered that they had essentially stopped interacting with each other online entirely. No more friendly comments on each other's posts, no shared behind-the-scenes content, no birthday wishes or congratulations for professional achievements. Their social media presence had become completely compartmentalized, as if they existed in separate universes rather than working on the same show together. The contrast with other popular teen drama casts became even more stark when fans started making side-by-side comparisons. Shows like Outer Banks, Stranger Things, and even older series like Vampire Diaries maintained cast friendships and social media interactions that suggested genuine affection and ongoing relationships between actors even years after their shows ended. The Summer I Turned Pretty cast, meanwhile, seemed to be actively avoiding any public association with each other beyond their contractual promotional obligations.
The final season of The Summer I Turned Pretty premiered amid all this controversy, and fans immediately began scrutinizing every scene for signs of the behind-the-scenes tension affecting the on-screen chemistry. Some viewers claimed they could detect a difference in the energy between Lola Tung and Gavin Casalegno's romantic scenes, suggesting that their real-life discomfort was bleeding through into their performances as Belly and Jeremiah. Entertainment industry analysts started discussing how this level of publicized cast drama could potentially affect the show's legacy and the actors' future career prospects. While controversy can sometimes generate publicity and boost viewership in the short term, the deeply personal and political nature of this conflict created a more complex situation that could have lasting professional consequences for everyone involved. The streaming numbers for the final season remain strong, suggesting that the general viewing audience either wasn't aware of the behind-the-scenes drama or didn't care enough to stop watching. However, the passionate fan base that had made the show such a cultural phenomenon became increasingly divided, with different factions supporting different cast members and engaging in ongoing social media warfare that continued long after the series concluded. Amazon Prime Video's decision to issue public warnings about fan behavior ultimately highlighted how celebrity culture and political polarization have created an environment where even teen romance shows can become battlegrounds for ideological conflict. The fact that a streaming platform felt compelled to threaten legal action against viewers discussing a romantic drama series demonstrates how quickly fan communities can spiral into genuinely harmful territory when political beliefs become part of the conversation.
The Summer I Turned Pretty cast drama also raised broader questions about how much audiences should know or care about the personal political beliefs of actors, particularly young performers who were thrust into the spotlight without necessarily understanding how their private opinions might affect their public careers. The intense scrutiny of social media activity and the expectation that actors should align their personal views with the values of their fictional characters created a level of pressure that many industry professionals argue is unrealistic and potentially harmful. Before we wrap this up, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button if you made it this far into this Hollywood mess, because apparently I have a talent for turning celebrity drama into dissertation-length exposés, and your engagement is the only thing keeping me sane in this chaos. Looking back at the complete timeline of events from the show's initial success to the current fractured state of the cast relationships, it's clear that The Summer I Turned Pretty became a cautionary tale about how quickly beloved entertainment can become complicated by real-world politics and personal conflicts. The series that was supposed to represent the magic of first love and summer romance instead became a symbol of how deeply divided society has become on fundamental issues of equality, representation, and social justice. The lasting impact of this controversy extends far beyond just one television show or its cast members. It represents a broader shift in how audiences engage with entertainment and celebrities, where personal political beliefs have become as important as professional performance in determining public approval and career success. The Summer I Turned Pretty cast learned the hard way that in today's climate, there's no such thing as private political opinions for public figures, and that the values you express online can fundamentally alter your professional relationships and career trajectory.
Whether this level of political scrutiny and ideological purity testing in entertainment is healthy or sustainable remains an open question. But The Summer I Turned Pretty saga demonstrates that these conflicts are likely to become increasingly common as social media continues to blur the lines between public and private life for celebrities. The show that was supposed to capture the innocence of teenage romance ended up revealing how complex and politically charged even the most seemingly apolitical entertainment has become in our current cultural moment. The final verdict on this entire situation might be that The Summer I Turned Pretty succeeded in ways its creators never intended. It didn't just tell a story about choosing between two different types of love. It forced audiences to confront their own values and decide what matters more, the art or the artist, the entertainment or the personal beliefs of those who create it. And based on how this controversy played out, it seems clear that for many viewers, those personal beliefs matter just as much as the on-screen chemistry that originally made them fall in love with these characters and actors. So, there you have it, the complete, messy, politically charged story of how one of television's most beloved teen romance series became ground zero for a cultural war that's still playing out across social media platforms and fan communities worldwide. The Summer I Turned Pretty might be over, but the questions it raised about celebrity, politics, and fan culture are just getting started.